Hello, my name is Jack Udetz, and this is a summary of what I learned from this writing, rhetorical, and digital studies course. My first project was called Digital Justice Against Young Adults. I focused my attention on addressing digital justice in the context of students and young adults who are always eager to learn about the vast world. We are once again headed into a new digital age, and we need to take some precautions before we get too far into it. I started by addressing that technology grows at an exponential rate because you use technology to make more technology. This is important because there's so much new information that the average person misses because they can't pay attention to everything. I also wanted to address the problem that false information is being so widespread and why it is only going to get worse at the rate that we're headed. According to a digital study by the UCLA Center for Communication, roughly 47.3% of all information over a wide range of social media sources, Wikipedia, and political blogs is unreliable and false. That is an infringement on our communication rights, the second principle of digital justice. We are right in the danger zone for finding reliable information and trying to distinguish it from unreliable information. But we should be careful so that if any changes to policies are made, we can still uphold the right to freedom of expression through social media. Not only is it bad now, but it is only going to get worse. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is becoming outstandingly smart. Certain AI programs are so advanced that they are capable of taking the voice and face of an individual to make videos of that person saying whatever they want. Our generation is going to be running the show soon enough. And if we are constantly being fed fake information now, it is going to cause some big problems in the long run. But what can be done to combat this issue? Where is digital justice? I think the most important thing right now is for people to really have a good perspective on the true power of AI. Once it is set into our minds how dangerous AI can be, then we'll be in a proper position to make more educated decisions on what the limitations of AI should be. This could be done by spreading facts about what has already happened and what could happen if AI continues to grow smart and is easily accessible. This would require the use of the fifth area of digital justice, which is to build a transformative movement. We can't make changes on our own. We need everyone we can to make the leap to some policy changes for AI. My second assignment was titled Bridging Digital Divides. There are huge divides in the world in terms of technology. These are called digital divides. It's a gap between us being able to fully interconnect our world with others. This divide makes things even harder for these countries because they can't fully benefit from the advantages that come with being connected. The digital divide in underdeveloped countries is a major obstacle that needs to be addressed so that everyone can have a fair shot at success. According to the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, the cause of this digital divide stems from the fact that many countries do not have widespread internet access. Another cause of the digital divide would be that there is a lack of knowledge on how to effectively use technology when first being introduced. The next big cause of digital divide is simply lacking access to computers. Many countries' economies cannot afford to spend money on purchasing technology and trying to set up and maintain infrastructure. They are simply not at that point in development. So these are just a few of the plenty of ways that lacking this technology negatively affects so many people in so many countries. So now, what are some ways that you could combat these digital divides? One way of getting started would be getting the infrastructure in place. If there is no electricity access in the first place, then there is no point in having computers. And as we know with places like Chad and South Sudan, there's a lot of missing infrastructure. The second option would be to get hardware supplied. Many countries are at the point where they have access to electricity but no access to computers. This is where places like the United States can get involved and donate our unwanted technology for usage and research in other countries. The third thing that could be done would be to teach as many people as possible how computers work and how to operate them. If they understand how and why they work and how to fix or even build a computer, then that would be a huge step in the right direction towards closing the divide. We have plenty of work to do to close the digital divide, but it is important not to be intimidated by how far the gap has grown. This would cause the process to slow down. We need to figure out what the most viable steps to take are so that the world can become more united. My third assignment is titled At War with Technology. This is because technology is becoming so advanced that it is producing unimaginable new possibilities, and unfortunately, that comes with some bad ones. We have to worry about cyber attacks such as data breaches that can leak very sensitive information, malware and viruses which can destroy computers and the data stored within, disinformation and fake news spreading lies and deception through our minds. And now, with modern artificial intelligence, we have many more problems to worry about, such as deepfakes. The rapid advancement of technology is accompanied by growing dangers and risks associated with technology in today's interconnected world, and awareness must be spread. The most important takeaways from this assignment are how to protect yourself from these dangers. So, how can you defend yourself from these cyber attacks? There are some precautions that you should always be aware of as a general way to protect yourself, and one would be what IBM calls identity and access management. This includes activating multi-factor authentication to log into your accounts, using randomized passwords and never using the same password twice, and using virtual private networks or VPNs to prevent being traced by your IP address. Disinformation is the next weapon that I tackled. Anyone can spread fake news and disinformation online with little accountability or consequence. How can you protect yourself from seeing misinformation? It comes with some work. You should always be aware of the reputation of the author and the organization that your information is coming from. You can do this by Googling if they are reputable and checking on a fact-checking website for what their past has looked like in terms of providing useful and accurate information. The last weapon I talked about is deepfakes. There's really no way to protect yourself or your pictures from being used to create deepfakes, but it's important to stay on the lookout for them if you see any strange video or if you see any strange behavior in any video online. Every person on the planet is at risk for becoming a victim of cybercrime, especially those with access to a computer. The rapid advancement of technology is accompanied by growing dangers and risks associated with technology in today's interconnected world, and awareness must be spread. My final assignment is titled, We the Digital Community. Digital resources have the potential to play a significant role in promoting social and ecological justice, gender justice, racial and ethnic justice, and fostering care for cross-cultural communities. Digital resources possess the power to promote a wider range of people in an online community, playing a huge role in how we can become a more empowered and equitable world. In terms of accessibility, digital resources have the capacity to enhance accessibility and inclusivity, ensuring that less fortunate communities have equal opportunities to access information and essential services. One group that has a clear digital divide is the blind. They cannot see what is on a computer screen, so how do they use one? Well, luckily, there are people like Jamie Tay and Mick Curran to make these changes in the world. These two blind individuals created a free screen reader which reads out loud what is on screen, so it is accessible to blind people. Another digital divide was made much clearer during the pandemic. Everything is all online now. We were even able to go fully remote through our colleges to get our education. What is especially problematic in poorer communities is not that everyone was able even is that everyone wasn't even able to go to their online classes. In an article I found from the Los Angeles Times, a 10-year-old girl named Maria Vago had no computer when COVID struck. She was left without access to her class until finally she was able to access one. Although having access to something is only half the battle. You can't give someone a computer who has never had one before, then go try to tell them and download Zoom. They're going to be lost. This is where Maria found her next problem. She was falling behind because she struggled to adapt to the technology, and she never had a perfect internet connection. These communities are constantly at risk for falling behind the rest of our country because they simply do not have access to all the modern things of our world. Digital resources possess the power to promote a wider range of people in an online community, playing a huge role in how we can become a more empowered and equitable world. This is where we are at. We can only do so much to provide social and ecological justice, gender justice, racial and ethnic justice, and care for cross-cultural communities. What is important is that we act, because you can have all the access to the information of the universe, but unless it is acted upon, it is worthless. Thank you.